The town of Windale had always been a peaceful place, the kind of place where people left their shoes outside, waved at strangers, and where every coffee shop had at least 3 dogs lying under the tables waiting for crumbs. Windale adored its dogs. Golden retrievers, Dutch hounds, poodles, shepherds. You couldn't walk a block without meeting someone proudly showing off their fur child. So when Bright Bite Net Nutrition released a new line of dog food called Rainbow Chompers, the whole town practically stampeded to buy it. The pelts were colorful like candy, smelled oddly fruity, and were unbelievably cheap. No one questioned it. Dogs loved it. People loved it that dogs loved it. The company became the talk of every dog park in less than 48 hours. Maylin, a microbiology specialist and the mother of a bright 3-year-old named Rowan, was no exception. She had a golden retriever named Sunny, a big fluffy sweetheart who believed every human was a best friend he just hadn't sniffed yet. Sunny took one whiff of rainbow choppers and decided it was the sort of delicacy meant for royalty. Normally, Maylin cooked Sunny's meals herself, chicken, rice, veggies, but working at Windale General Hospital's pathology lab meant long hours. So one busy morning, she scooped the colorful pellets into Sunny's bowl, kissed her son goodbye, and hurried out to the door. That was the day things in Windale shifted from ordinary to bizarre. It started with the thefts. Gold jewelry missing beside drawers, cash disappearing from locked safes. A man on Pine Street swore his collection of antique silver spoons had vanished sometime after midnight. There was no signs of break-ins, no footprints, no fingerprints, no forced windows. The police scratched their heads. The residents panicked. The town WhatsApp groups exploded with theories ranging from invisible burglar to some magician prank. Security cameras captured nothing except dogs tottering around streets at night. But no one paid attention to the part dogs wandered all the time. Windale was basically owned by them. Maylin barely followed the theft news. Between lab work, cooking meals, doing laundry, and keeping Rowan from putting Legos in air vents, she had no time for local drama. Her days ran on caffeine, pure willpower, and that smug satisfaction of knowing she had managed to keep her house relatively clean for 3 consecutive days. Then, one evening, everything went wrong. She found Rowan sitting beside Sunny, both surrounded by spilled rainbow chompers. Rowan giggled as he shoved a handful of dog food into Sunny's mouth, and Sunny chomped happily. "Rowan, no!" Maylin yelped, rushing forward. Rowan pouted but didn't cry. Sunny wagged its tail, hoping the chaos meant bonus treats. She cleared the mess, washed Rowan's hands, and forgot about it. Toddlers did weird things daily, and this was far from the worst. But that night, Rowan woke up screaming. Maylin burst into his room expecting fever, a fall, a nightmare, something normal. Instead, she found her 3-year-old clutching a gold bracelet he had never seen before, crying like someone was pulling it out of his little hands. Her heart stopped. "Rowan, where did you get that?" He didn't respond. His eyes looked unfocused. His tiny fists clenched the jewelry like a lifeline. Sonny stood beside him whining, strangely distressed. Malin grabbed Rowan and the bracelet and raced to the hospital, calling her colleague, Dr. Arya, on the way. Tests showed Rowan wasn't poisoned, not sick, not infected, but he had traces of behavioral neuroentrainment. Something like hypnosis, something triggered, something external. Malin's scientist brain snapped awake. She knew the exact moment Rowan started acting strangely. When he'd played with rainbow chompers. No, it was ridiculous. Dog food affecting humans? But she had seen so many abnormal microbes and mind-alerting agents to dismiss anything. She ran DNA swabs on rainbow chompers, and what she saw made her blood run cold. Foreign protein structures, not harmful but engineered, something that reacted strongly with brainwave frequency patterns. That night, she scribbled every suspicion she had into her notebook. In a moment of exhausted desperation, she called the only person she trusted with insane theories, Investigator Daniel Parks. Mr. Parks, oh, Dan, if you want to be friendly, which I approve of, as he always joked, was a private investigator who consulted with police whenever they needed a brain with sharper edges. He was a tall, mildly chaotic, wore a leather jacket like he lived in detective movies, and flirted with problems as much as he flirted with life. When Malin explained everything, he didn't laugh. He didn't dismiss her. He simply said, "Let's test it on dogs," which admittedly sounded terrible. But Sonny volunteered by sniffing the rainbow chomper's bag like it contained pure happiness. Over the next few days, Dan placed tiny trackers on several dogs in town, Sonny included. With permission from owners, he mapped their nightly movements, their behavior changes, their brainwave spikes, and slowly a picture formed. The thefts spiked exactly when rainbow chompers started selling. Dogs that ate the food showed heightened suggestibility. They disappeared from homes late at night, returned before dawn, always through dog doors, always with something in their mouth. Dan replayed hours of nighttime footage, dogs working, dogs carrying things, dogs wandering like they were on assignment. Malin felt sick. If someone can control dogs, they can control kids. Dan placed a calming hand on her shoulder. "We'll stop them," he said. The investigation intensified. They analyzed the food, reviewed shipping manifest, checked the company behind rainbow chompers, Paw Mix Industries. At first glance, Paw Mix looked legitimate, but its parent company, Mind Petrolabs, had no scientific publications, no real board, no office photos, nothing online except a shiny website with stock images and genetic claims about innovating pet wellness. Too clean, too empty. Someone was hiding behind it. Meanwhile, the Rottweiler from Tom's house, Bruno, became an accidental wild card. He kept stealing things from Malin's lab just to chew on them, knocking over vials and making Malin shriek. "Bruno, that's not part of the investigation." Sonny just side-eyed him like amateurs. 3 weeks passed. They worked relentlessly. Sonny acted normal during the day, but restless at night. When they followed him, he always stopped moving whenever he sensed he was being watched. Smarter than normal, too alert. One night, Dan suggested they let Sonny lead them naturally. No interference, just tracking. That night, Sonny left home at 2:13 a.m., squeezing through the dog door with practiced ease. Dan and Malin followed from a distance using GPS feed. Sonny moved through alleys, across lawns, under fences, finally reaching a warehouse district near the edge of town. He sat in front of an old storage building called Unit 47. Their hearts pounded. Dan whispered, "That's it." They parked far away and approached in shadows. Sunny slipped through a hole under the metal door. Inside the warehouse, faint lights flickered, machinery hummed. Million's skin prickled. They peered through the broken window. Hundreds of dogs, all different breeds, entered one by one, dropping stolen items into crates. Gold, money, jewelry, electronics, bags labeled with dates and even names of dogs, like Rex for gold, Misty for gadgets, and Bruno for plastic. A man in grey lab coat sat at the center, holding a handheld device that pulsed soft waves. Dogs responded like puppets, obedient and emotionless, then shuffled back out into the night. The man spoke softly. "Good dogs. Very good dogs." Melin recognized the device shape, something that worked with neuroentrainment frequencies. Dan whispered, "He's running a literal canine heist network." Melin's anger burned hot. Using animals was bad enough. But what if Rowan had eaten more food that day? What if he became part of it? She wouldn't have forgiven herself. Suddenly, Sunny spotted them through the window and barked loudly. The man spun around. "Who's there?" Dan cursed. "We've been made." The warehouse erupted into chaos. Dogs scattered. The man hit a switch. The main lights flashed on, revealing rows of crates and high-tech screens. He pulled out a stronger frequency emitter, a baton-shaped device glowing red. "You should have stayed home," he growled. Malin and Dan ran as the man unleashed a wave that made Sunny stumble in confusion. The air vibrated like a shock wave. Even from outside, Malin felt dizziness. Dan pulled her back. "Go back to the car," he shouted. The man chased them, shouting commands, and to their horror, dogs began closing in, moving like soldiers under order. But Sunny didn't attack. He stood firmly in front of the man, growling deeply, resisting the pull. All dogs, loyal to their humans, resist stronger commands. Marion realized breathlessly. Dan smirked. Then it's checkmate. They fled to the car. Sunny blocked the man's advance. The retriever leaped and knocked the emitter from the villain's hand. Dan grabbed it quickly and smashed it against the pavement. Without the device, dogs blinked in confusion and began wandering aimlessly. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Dan had hit the emergency signal few minutes earlier. Officers stormed into the warehouse. The man tried to escape, but Sunny tackled him with the full enthusiasm of a 75-pound retriever who believed he deserved a cookie for this. The warehouse contents were revealed. A stolen fortune from hundreds of homes, all orchestrated through mind-alerting dog food designed to hijack loyal pets into an invisible crime network. The culprit, a disgraced former neuroengineer named Dr. Venron Lake, confessed later. He had hoped to build an underground empire using dogs as thieves. Rainbow choppers had been his way in. All stolen items were returned. Pomix Industries was shut down. Mind Petrolabs was dissolved. Windale hailed Dan and Malin as heroes, although Sunny became the true celebrity. Newspapers dubbed him the retriever who saved Windale. People bought him treats wherever he went. But for Malin, the moment she truly exhaled was back home, when Rowan hugged her and giggled again like his old self. Normal, safe. Sunny curled beside them on the couch, resting his head on Rowan's lap, eyes warm and soft. Dan visited them often after that, sometimes officially, sometimes just because. Melin pretended she didn't notice he always bought extra coffee for her. Windale slowly returned to ordinary life, but every time Melin saw a Rainbow Chopper's bag in the trash, she couldn't help but shuddering, remembering how close things had come to disaster. And every time Sunny barked at night, she checked the windows just once more, just in case. Even Bruno, the retriever, got a medal from the mayor for, well, chaos. But Sunny sniffed it and gave him a look and clearly said, amateurs.